AATBirds Weekly Report is the Eagle news, notes, and analysis you need. It's all birds, all the time.
How about them Eagles?
And how about them Eagles? Eagles get a big-time blowout spanking win against the Dallas Cowboys, 41-7. I put a great picture on the screen for all you can see because I had to, and I had to do it just because of my co-host here at Chip, Tanner McKee. And basically the title of this is Pickett ? McKee ? No problem. 41-7 win. And listen, you knew Dallas was going to have a little bit of a fight just because it is a divisional game. Started off pretty good. You had the pick six, and then Dallas went down the field. Defense wasn't doing too well, but I'll give it to the offense sticking to it. Pickett getting really banged up, and he's playing with broken ribs. And then the third stringer coming in.
He took a painkiller shot pregame and midgame.
So, listen, they got the win. They hammer the Dallas Cowboys. They sweep them for the first time since 2011. And they beat them a total score of 75-13, which is pretty good.
And honestly, if anything was going to be, Mike McCarthy is not going to be back next year. You cannot lose to the Eagles that badly twice in one season. And it showed today that the Cowboys were an undisciplined team, making stupid mistakes. They got outclassed, outmatched. They had a terrible game plan. I just think that this might have been Mike McCarthy's last hurrah. And there's been some talk over the last couple of weeks. Oh, well, maybe they'll bring him back. That would be the stupidest thing. But again, as long as Jerry Jones is still the owner, he is my favorite Eagle.
Yeah. And the other thing too, like when I look at this game and, the offense changes when Jalen Hurts isn't in there. I know people want to say, well, they can run somewhat similar stuff. No, it's
no, they can't.
It's a different offense. And, it was great to see Saquon, them giving them the ball late, really, really trying to get that 2,000 yards. It was awesome. He had that last long run and he has 2,005 yards. There's nothing the Eagles can do next week. They're locked in the 2 spot, and you're going to have that talk all week. I think everybody sits. You have the third stringer that you see on the screen there, and Tanner McKee start the game and play the game and let him play. Let Ian Book be the backup and basically be a glorified preseason game. And, maybe the Giants will win and hurt their draft stock even more than they did today with beating the Colts. So,
So, I mean, it's not a basically thing. The Eagles are locked into the number 2 seed. With the Vikings win, the Eagles became locked into the number 2 seed, which says to me, you don't need to play literally anybody. And I know, breaking Dickerson's record would be great and all. There's always going to be an asterisk next to it because he did it in 17 games rather than 16. So to me, it's not even worth it. I'd rather waste a Lombardi.
Dickerson broke it in 16 games when O.J. Simpson had it in 14. So
exactly. So there would always be an asterisk. We can't control that the NFL wants to inflate the schedule. Now,
it's already got 2,000.
With that being said, as that Drake London, who's number 12 on the? Is that
Cordero Hodge?
No, Hodge. Okay. Listen. I'm in a very tight championship match here. I don't normally watch the Falcons this closely. No, I do think that the Eagles need to rest everybody. Pickett being injured like he is, I agree. He can be the third emergency quarterback. The only caveat that I would say, and I think that this is what is going to be talked about all week, is Jalen Hurts basically having 3 weeks off before the playoffs is not ideal.
Do you give him a series and then, almost like a preseason type of give him a series and then the backups all come in?
And that's the conversation that I think you may need to have. But at the same time, if there is one person that I really do not think would ever be unprepared for a playoff game, it's Jalen Hurts. Therefore, I'm okay if they give him the extra week of rest. I agree. Tanner McKee can absolutely start. Give Kenny Pickett a chance to rest. Get a little more tape out there on McKee. Let him see what he does against a division rival in an absolutely meaningless game. But as you like to mention, with a defensive pass rush that is very good, even without perennial Hall of Famer Brandon Burns or whatever you think he is.
No, Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence. Dexter Lawrence is hurt. He's not there.
I know. I'm messing with you, Todd.
Listen, this may be a game that you see some of these backups step up. But looking at this Dallas game and the Eagles, like Dallas was undermanned. We knew that. No CeeDee Lamb, he was put on IR. You have no Dak Prescott. Listen, it's just when you look at the players on Dallas's squad, yes, the Eagles should have beat them by this much. But the thing about it is, Eagles had no Nakobe Dean, so you had Oren Burks in there, and then you had Jeremiah Trotter in there. And there was a couple different things, a couple guys later in the game that went out. No major injuries that I know of or anything speaking, so that's at least a good thing. But I think my thing, like looking at this game, was they were able to rebound from a disastrous game in Washington, and they were able to
awful game.
And they were able to bounce back. They were able to get turnovers, 4 turnovers. They've had 9 turnovers the last 2 games. Listen, that's going to be key too. If you're able to, and the thing about it was able to get turnovers and to turn those turnovers into points and not just field goals. And they were able to do that. And, I thought it was key seeing, Kenny Pickett do the tush push twice. He got stopped. They called the timeout 2 seconds. He said, you know what, just go and do it again. And they went in did it again, and it was 24-7 at half. So,
I think that the Eagles, I like that they did that. I'm not crazy with necessarily that being the play call when you're dealing with a guy with broken ribs. And I feel like the first time they did it, it was without Saquon in the backfield, but then they, rectified that situation. The
first thing they did was they tried to hand it off to the running back, and he got stuffed. So
agreed.
They decided to go and
the Eagles came out and they played a great game. You saw the impact of C.J. Gardner-Johnson on this team. You saw the impact. I mean, it's insane. And I think I said that Cooper Rush has like 10 career interceptions or something like that, and 6 of them are to C.J. Gardner-Johnson, or I think I saw a stat something along those lines.
That's interesting.
I mean, it's insane. I just had to check to make sure that Reed Blankenship even played today because he was an absolute ghost. He did play. He had a whole tackle. But again,
sometimes that's a good thing.
But again, you didn't need him to excel because look, Oren Burks played very well. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. played well. Bryce Huff played well. I mean, these guys played well on defense and absolutely shut down a pathetic Cowboys offense. And then on the other side of the ball, you got to give props to Grant Calcaterra for an absolutely stupid good catch. You have to give props to Devontae Smith on having a great game with a quarterback that he doesn't have a lot of familiarity with. Like you have to give credit to these guys.
Devontae made up for his drop, and you knew he was going to do something. And he made up for it
by a landslide.
And you didn't have A.J. Brown didn't go off. He only had a couple catches.
Are you bitter about that, Johnny?
Called back. Yeah, he was on my fantasy team. But listen, it's what it is. Eagles got the win. That's really all that matters to me. But he did get a touchdown and then threw the touchdown pass into the stands, which luckily, did you see that? They got it back. And then
that's a cool story.
And then after the game, he took his jersey off, game worn, signed
jersey, it and gave it to the guy.
That was absolutely awesome. So that was a good thing.
And look, listen, I will stand here and say, Tanner McKee looked very good today.
What were you watching in the preseason? He did the same thing in the preseason.
It's really hard to justify preseason football.
I don't care.
Here, he was inserted as a backup quarterback, which means he didn't have a ton of practice. Now, he probably had some practice with the ones this week because of the Kenny Pickett injuries. But he got rid of the ball quickly. He made smart decisions. They tempered down the offense significantly for him. And he looked like a competent backup quarterback. That's great. And you and I have already begun the offseason, who do we keep conversation. I think that you try to trade Pickett if he is able to put out a little more tape that he's a starting caliber quarterback. And you go in with Tanner McKee, but you're also talking then completely different quarterback styles. But I am not talking anymore about the offseason because the Philadelphia Eagles are division champs. They slapped the Cowboys stupid, and they're the number 2 seed.
And, also when you look at, this team, 0 turnovers. So they won the turnover battle, which was huge.
With backup quarterbacks.
And, the other thing you have to think about, too, is they're going to be getting Dallas Goedert back come playoff time, which is going to be awesome to have him because of, one, not only he can, catch the ball.
His run blocking.
But his blocking is unbelievable. When you take a look at, unfortunately, Calcaterra struggled there. Luckily, he had a great, he made an awesome catch. He's better receiver than he is a blocker. CJ Uzoma, I know he got hurt today, but he's been playing really well blocking. You like to see some of that. Like, again, hopefully no injuries are super serious, but getting him back is an added boost, which is going to be awesome. And, Bryce Huff, I know he went into the locker room with a shoulder thing, but then came back and played the second half. So that's a good thing because you want that rotation because, you need that, especially come playoff time when you're going to be playing some snaps. And if you're playing a lot of snaps, you want to make sure you have the guys that, are able to rotate and get the pass rush. And, they were able to get some rush. They weren't able to get home. They only had 1 total sack, which half of it was to
But
Trotter.
we also know that Cooper Rush gets rid of the ball very quickly.
Fast. Yeah. No, they were doing a lot of very short throws, very fast, very quick. But listen, the Eagles were able to, keep Rico Dowdle at bay, except for when all the backups were in, where he had a 20-something yard run. So otherwise, they kept him at bay there. But what
I love about that is Rico Dowdle will be the Cowboys running back for at least the next 2 seasons. And he's not very good. My biggest joy about the Cowboys offseason was that they committed absolutely no money to the running game, except for the bargain bin version of Ezekiel Elliott. And you saw what happens with this Cowboys team with Dak Prescott, with Cooper Rush when they don't have quality running backs. So Jerry Jones, again, well done. Way to improve your running game. Really proud of you.
The other thing that I saw something, and I want to bring it up because it is so true. For the Eagles to have the last number of seasons, Jason Kelce at center, all pro, all world, top center in the NFL, to go to Cam Jurgens and literally not really miss a beat is unreal. And listen,
it's unreal. Jeff Stoutland deserves a stupid amount of credit. But again, remember, Jason Kelce handpicked his
I was going to say, Jason Kelce as well deserves some credit because he picked this guy knowing his abilities and knowing, and, him being able to get coached for 2 seasons and then, jump in there. And it doesn't look like they miss a beat. Mekhi Becton's really stepped in and,
I want to talk about some of the Eagles acquisitions. Mekhi Becton and Zach Bond. Are
Ian
two
CJ.
of the best. Yes, we knew what we were getting with CJ, but for them to get Mekhi Becton and turn him into
Pro Bowl
the
guard,
first round draft quality pick that he was supposed to be and projected to be is Jeff Stoutland. For them to take Zach Bond and turn him into a Defensive Player of the Year candidate, an All-Pro candidate, I mean, it is a kudos to Howie for getting the guys. It is a kudos to Jeff Stoutland and Vic Fangio. I mean, this team is, we have said this, they are firing on all cylinders. It is the next man up mentality. They are playing as a team. That is a team that was so excited for Tanner McKee's touchdown passes, so excited for Saquon Barkley to break 2,000. That is a team celebrating team successes.
Yeah. I love seeing that. I love seeing them. When he threw that touchdown pass, everyone was all around him because they knew, and this team is so together, and it's great to see you get those vibes, and they hit adversity, like no matter what it is, like they lost in the final seconds last week, and a game that they really had won if there wasn't a drop, and they were able to stop. Like there was so many factors, and they just undisciplined, just didn't get it done, and they didn't take a step back. They pushed ahead and they dominated a lesser team that they should have dominated, and that's the case. So it's great to see. It's awesome to see. Eagles get the win. Tanner McKee looks great. What I wanted to see,
He
just
looked
because I
good.
want you to eat crow. But for me, it's just time to put the backups in. That's what we'll have. We'll have a show on Wednesday talking about all of the scenarios, probably in terms of who the Eagles may face, because there's a lot of stuff that's got to go on. Like tonight's
It
game,
should be pretty locked after tonight. I'm going to be honest.
depending on what happens, there's still a slight chance, I believe, that Tampa Bay can get into the playoffs, but there's a lot that has to happen.
Sevens. Well, yeah, but so
there's a lot that has to happen.
What it's right now, Washington's already up 7-0, and I do. If you recall, play the tape back, just like you predicted with Tanner McKee. What was my big prediction this season? Washington was going to make the playoffs.
Well, that may happen tonight.
It may happen tonight. I have to give you yours. The one you're going to hate the most and probably love it at the same time because you're a sicko. The best meme that I have seen describing Tanner McKee.
The Mormon Missile.
His street name can be known as Joe Montana.
Oh boy! Listen, Philadelphia loves their backup.
The internet is quick. The internet doesn't fail.
Philadelphia loves their backup quarterback. That's for sure.
God,
but we'll be back on Wednesday night, breaking down the basically preseason matchup of the Eagles Giants, but also going over some of the playoff scenarios and who they might play, who we want them to play. We'll go over that kind of stuff. But the Eagles get the win, domination on 3, 1, 2, 3, dominate. But the cool thing today was on our way home, we went bowling this morning, and on the way home, we were in Quakertown, so going north back home, a bald eagle flew above us, and I'm like, that's an eagle. And it was, absolutely. And I've never seen a bald eagle,
they're cool
on TV.
So the school that I teach at is right next to the Elmwood Park Zoo, which is where the Philadelphia Eagles get their eagles from.
Okay.
So I have seen bald eagles up close and personal. I've actually seen the Philadelphia bald eagle very, very close, but I'm glad that you got to experience that on playoff clinching day, on division day.
Yeah, that was just pretty cool. And I said, oh, this is an omen. Well, 41-7 omen. I'll take it. So
that was an oh man.
Oh man, yeah. Especially that's what.
Listen, everybody who's watching, I need you to send good vibes out there. Go Falcons, except Darnell Mooney. Think it, and I will receive it.
So when he scored a touchdown, I'll get that text.
I'm gonna murder a puppy.
Don't say that.
I have 3 of them. I'm not, guys.
Chip will not be on the next show as he's arrested.
Oh boy.
But with that, as we end it with a very happy and division clinching Go Birds.
This is Matt Ware. Hey, for all the Eagle content you need, go follow All About the Birds. They do a damn thing. Check them out.
Hey, Eagles fans, I may be in Tampa, but I know where to find the best Eagles content out there. Check out my friends at All About the Birds.
Philadelphia, what's up? This your boy Freddie Mitchell, a.k.a. Fred X. It's all about the bird.
All birds all the time. All birds all the time.
All About the Birds provides you with weekly analysis, game recaps, informative interviews, and it's all birds all the time.